Well, good morning, everyone. Today I'm joined by Deputy Secretary Kate Matson, who will take us through the daily numbers. But I'm also here to make a critical announcement for our creative industry that we know have done it particularly tough during the pandemic. But firstly, to the numbers. There were 1,965 new cases yesterday, all locally acquired. We currently have 17,199 active cases. Sadly, 5 people have lost their lives with COVID-19. A woman in her 90s and a man in his 70s, both from Moreland. A man in his 60s from Banyule. A man in his 50s from Hobsons Bay. A man in his 50s from Hume. We pass on our deepest condolences to their family and their friends at this very difficult time. 578 people are currently in hospital with COVID-19, 117 are in ICU, and 83 are on a ventilator. Turning now to the tests and vaccines. So there were 73,443 tests processed yesterday, and I want to thank each and every one of those tens of thousands of Victorians for coming forward and getting tested. 41,177 vaccines were administered at our state hubs yesterday, and many thousands more were administered by GPs and pharmacies right across the state. 85% of the over 16 population have now received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, and 57% have received a second dose, which is a fantastic effort. I'll now pass to Deputy Secretary Matson to provide a bit more information on the health report before returning to provide a bit more information about our exciting announcement. Kate.
Thank you, Minister, and good morning. I'll take you through some of the geography and details of the cases, as well as some exposure sites of particular interest. So, of the total cases from yesterday, we had 735 in the northern suburbs of Melbourne, with particular majorities in the LGAs of Hume and Whittlesea. In the west, we had 464 new cases, or 24% of cases, and the large majority in Melton. In the southeast, we had 533 new cases, or 27% of new cases. Again, Casey LGA has the majority of the cases in the southeast, and 6% of new cases in the eastern suburbs, or 125 cases. In regional Victoria, there were 90 new cases, or 5%. The largest numbers of those cases were 20 in Mildura, which went into lockdown last night, 13 in Baw Baw, 12 in Mitchell Shire, 8 in Greater Shepparton, 7 in Latrobe City, 6 in Greater Geelong, and 3 in Ballarat. As of last night, the communities of Moorabool and Shepparton are no longer in lockdown, but again, with those new cases, and as always, if you have symptoms, please get tested and please do ensure you're following the CHO directions in those areas as always. Last night we did make the difficult decision to go into a lockdown in Mildura, so Mildura now shares the same settings as metropolitan Melbourne. We do appreciate the decision was made quite late into the evening, but as always, we are making these decisions on the latest advice and the latest data at the time. And if there was any inconvenience caused by our late notice, we do apologise for that. But we will never apologise for taking the right public health actions to protect Victoria and Victoria's community, and in this instance, the community in the Mildura area. The short lockdown will assist us to get our arms around the outbreak and ensure, hopefully, that Mildura can again return to the same settings as regional Victoria in another 7 days. Today's 20 new cases are spread across a number of households, and there are links over into New South Wales. Our total number of active cases in Mildura is now 37, and that's up from 1 case 1 week ago. We're particularly concerned about Mildura because of this rate in case growth. and we believe there may be additional cases out there yet that we have not found. The next 7 days will be crucial for us to have a really stringent public health response, and we thank those who've already come forward for testing, and we do ask that those with symptoms come forward as soon as they possibly can, as well as anyone who has been contacted by the local public health unit or the Department of Health in terms of being into contact with a confirmed case. We ask that anyone who hasn't been contacted or anyone without symptoms, please hold back for now. Testing capacity in Mildura has been increased, but of course, we want to be able to prioritise those people at most risk. We have opened 2 new facilities and facilities with increased capacity this weekend. They are Barrett and Smith Pathology. It's a walk-through site on Langtree Avenue. And a new drive-through pop-up at the old Aerodrome Oval on 11th Street. This drive-through site conducted over 400 tests yesterday and does have capacity for additional tests, and we have sent our mobile pathology van up to Mildura, so for quick turnaround for prioritised tests. Again, please, if you've got symptoms in Mildura, come forward and get tested, no matter what that symptom is or how slight it may be. And a reminder to those in Mildura that getting vaccinated is indeed a permitted reason to leave your home. So if you are still unvaccinated, or if you have, for instance, a second dose booked, you are more than welcome to come forward and do that if you do not have symptoms. With respect to exposure sites of interest, late last night we were advised of a confirmed case in Virgin Australia cabin crew. The case was identified through surveillance testing conducted by Virgin, and we thank Virgin and their staff for continuing to remain vigilant during COVID and conducting frequent surveillance testing. They worked whilst infectious from the 4th to the 6th of October, and there were 6 flights in or out of Melbourne that were affected. Fellow crew members on those flights have been deemed close contacts. Most do live in Melbourne and will be contacted by the department. Passengers on those flights are being contacted by the relevant jurisdictions, and we've been in close contact with both New South Wales and South Australia and working closely with them to contact the relevant passengers. The details of those flights will be confirmed in today's CHO release, but they are: on the 4th of October, VA219 from Melbourne to Adelaide. Again on the 4th of October, VA218 Adelaide to Melbourne. On the 5th of October, VA827 Melbourne to Sydney. Again, 5th of October, VA808 from Sydney to Melbourne. And on the 6th of October, VA1593 Melbourne to Newcastle. And again on the 6th, VA1594 Newcastle to Melbourne. With respect to our vaccination program, the vaccination pop-ups are continuing to be rolled out and have been very successful over recent weeks. On Monday, we have 4 new community pop-ups opening. One at the Hadfield Community Hall on Middle Street. Second one at Meadow Heights Community Centre on Buchan Street. A pop-up at the Australia Light Foundation on Sunshine Road in Tottenham, and the John Pandazopoulos Hall on Power Road in Doveton. All of those sites will be offering walk-ups without a booking, and all will be offering both Pfizer and AstraZeneca. And following from the hugely successful Whitten Oval pop-up in conjunction with the Western Bulldogs, how could we possibly go past the Melbourne Demons? So we have partnered with this year's premiers to run a second vaccination site, this one at the Demons' second home, the Casey Fields Sporting Complex. And both mRNA vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna, will be offered at this pop-up, and bookings and walk-ups both available. To enhance the accessibility at our vaccination centres, we will have Auslan interpreters on site this weekend at 3 sites. Anyone who is deaf or hard of hearing can walk in for a vaccination appointment and be supported by an interpreter at the Royal Exhibition Building, between 8:15am and 3:45pm. The Melbourne Showgrounds from 9am to 4pm. And the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre from 9am to 5pm. That's both today and tomorrow. And we do encourage those to come forward and make use of that service. Bookings are not required, and that interpreter service will be available on request. So when you get there, please just make it known that you'd like to access that service. We have six vaccination centres that do offer an on-demand service as well. So that on-demand service is available at the Ballarat Mercure Hotel and Convention Centre, the Bendigo Health Vaccination Centre, the Cranbourne Turf Club, the former Ford factory in Geelong, Shepparton Showgrounds, Traralgon Racecourse, and the Wodonga Hub as well. And may I also take this opportunity, whilst I'm on this extremely important topic, to thank the Auslan interpreters who turn up here day after day and support us at the press conferences. It's an extremely important role, and we're extraordinarily grateful and appreciative of all the work you do for us in getting our messages out to the community.